76, and now it's getting a little ragtag. Johnson fakes, goes up with a right hand from the left side for two.
That's Andy Kennedy's biggest fear. He told us earlier this team would take bad shots and allow Southern Miss to get out and run. Boy, Angelo Johnson can sure finish in transition, Kenny.
Angelo Johnson, 11 points in the ball game, 4 of 5 shooting. They go inside. This time they try to double Cox, who spins away from it. Another tip. What speed by Watson. Gives it up off the glass. 2 for Jonathan Mills.
Great job by Mills to run the court. Nice idea by Watson. That was a pretty tough pass, and Mills handled it very well. So nice combination by those two.
Andy Kennedy going to bring Nick Williams and Murphy Holloway back into the lineup. Stripped away. Johnson gives it up to Mills. French pastry for 2. All of a sudden, the Eagles have taken the lead by 1.
Ole Miss is making some bad decisions on offense. They're trying to force the ball inside on the drive, and when you make bad decisions on offense, that allows a transition team to get going. This time, Angelo Johnson taking it all the way to the goal. That was a 4-on-2 situation, and here's Watson coming down on the other end, a 2-on-2, a nice pass to Mills. And the last thing that Andy Kennedy expects when Southern Miss is out and running in transition is that you get a behind-the-back pass from Jonathan Mills. But that is great execution on the fast break by Southern Miss.
8-3 run for the Eagles. And Larry Eustace could take a sip and relax now. His team's up by 1, at least for a second. Along with Dan Bonner and Jen Hildreth, Ron Thune, welcome you to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Coverage of Conference USA basketball.
Ole Miss really trying to force the ball inside off the dribble. Southern Miss has defended it pretty well. You've got to be careful, particularly early in a basketball game. You don't want to be forcing things and allowing your opposition to get out and get easy transition baskets.
Nice job by Mills. He had Lachey Page ahead of him, but it's going to be rejected by Terrence Henry.
Now, in this particular case, Mills, he's 6'6" and he plays power forward. He does a nice job getting the ball, but he can't control it. He knows Page is ahead, but he can't control the ball. Actually makes a very nice pass to McGill. Henry gets called for the foul.
And that is Henry's second personal foul. And Jen has more on Jonathan Mills.
I do. I've been watching him, and a few plays ago, he came down the floor and was so frustrated because he was posting up inside and didn't get the ball. And so often, guys, what happens when you're frustrated about not getting the ball? Maybe sometimes you force it when you do get it. Mills has been just the opposite here with some great looks.
Absolutely, as McGill knocks it down. Last 6 games, he's been struggling from the field at just about 20%. But he ups the Eagles' lead to 3, 21-18, 8-14 to play in the opening half.
Good man-to-man defense.
Ole Miss going back inside. Henry, that's a good-looking shot.
And that's the matchup that we talked about earlier. Southern Miss doesn't really have anybody the size of Henry to play him at that small forward position, and if he goes inside effectively, he will have an advantage.
You know, we thought we'd be posting up a little bit more than what we've seen so far. McGill, he has to give it up. Watson for 3, and he buries it. The freshman with his 11th three-pointer of the year. And we've got a whistle away from the basketball, and that's going to be a foul on McGill.
Trying to guard Henry. Henry trying to post up inside. That's pretty tough. And what do we say about Southern Miss? They can really shoot the basketball. Here, they drive it to the goal. That's Angelo Johnson, and here's McGill, the power forward. In transition, are you kidding me? Southern Miss up by 4.
Here's our game summary, and I think the paint points surprise us. It's tied at 10 apiece.
Interesting thing is that Southern Miss is getting those points based on layups in transition, where Ole Miss is getting the points with offensive rebounds and tip-ins. The key number in the game, and we didn't have it up there, but the key number in the game is turnovers. Ole Miss has turned it over 6 times, most of those very recently. Larry Eustace and his guys have been able to take the ball down the court and turn those turnovers into points.
Well, we talked about how Coach Kennedy was concerned about the turnovers. He said we just got to hang on to the basketball.
Particularly have to hang on to the basketball in transition situations.
They try to go inside to Buckner. Off his hands, another turnover for Ole Miss. That's 7 in the ball game already.
And whether they get a transition basket or not, Ole Miss loses a possession opportunity. When you're playing a good team on the road, you need to take advantage of every possession. Little three-quarter court trapping defense by Ole Miss, but easily by the Golden Eagles.
This is something that Larry Eustace worked on today in shoot-around.
2-3 zone.
Nice pass inside. Mills can't get it go down. Rejected. Boy, here,
Buckner again. I mean, it's just hard to get the ball up the top.
He's got 3 blocks already. Golden, count the basket. Man to the line.
Boy, Henry is really good when he goes to the basket. When he plays with some aggressiveness in his game, pointing that game toward the basket, not settling for the outside jump shot. He just gets the ball after the help goes to the dribbler. Takes it right to the goal. Doesn't settle for that little jump shot.
We take a look at Terrence Henry out of Monroe, Louisiana, Carroll High School. Coach is saying he needs to have an all-SEC year this season if they want to break the NCAA tournament drought. He completes the three-point play. He's got 7 in the ball game, and the lead been cut back down to 1.
Just trap and then drop back into the zone just to change the tempo of the game a little bit.
And Bolden just shoots his first 2 of the ball game.
Not a very active zone right there. Bolden does a nice job finding an open spot in the middle.
Want to go back inside. Buckner in a spin move. Muscles his way. No. Boy, you look at Buckner. 6'9", almost 240 pounds for Andy Kennedy. You throw Holloway in there.
One of the criticisms of Buckner is that throughout his career, he has not been as assertive on the offensive end as they might like, but he was pretty assertive that time.
So he's a career 59% free throw shooter. This year, he's only made 12 trips, and he's made half of those. 7 rebounds, but more importantly, he is now the all-time leading shot blocker in Ole Miss history. Talking this morning about it, I said, does it mean a lot to you? He goes, yeah, it does. And he also did it in less games than Murphy did. Great job getting position by Holloway. That's why he's #1 in the SEC in rebounding, and Nelson with another 3.
But what a great decision by Holloway. Most guys, after they get that ball, will try to take it up in a crowd and draw a foul, but Holloway found an open teammate out in the corner, and as a result, they get a 3.
And he's got 3 threes already this afternoon, Nelson does.
One of the best places to find an open three-point shot is after an offensive rebound.
Good point. Watson just gives it up. Bolden just trying to flick it up there. Ole Miss comes down with it, leading by 1, closing in on 5.5 to play here in the opening 20. Another close game. We talked about the top of the show. These two teams have played tight the last 2 years. Henry's pull-up. And Watson quickly down court. Looks, alley-oop!
That is just a great job by Southern Miss to run the court. Pelham went straight down the court. Ole Miss was a little bit slow getting back. And by heavens, what a job by Watson to find Pelham underneath the basket.
And it concerned Ole Miss that Southern Miss had such great transition offense. And that's going to be an offensive foul on a moving screen, and it's going to go against Holloway.
One of the things that we have seen consistently from Southern Miss is when they get the ball, they push it up the court. And this is just a great decision by Watson. Watson makes this a 2-on-1. Henry probably goes a little bit early to get Watson and allows Watson the opportunity to toss it up to Pelham. As I said, the Rebels a little bit slow getting back on defense, but Watson's the guy that made him pay.
Johnson keeps his dribble off the glass. No. Fallon couldn't get it. Aaron Jones, number 34, and Juan Kendrick checked back into the lineup for Ole Miss. Kendrick, number 45, with a basketball out of Marietta, Georgia.
Boy, another one of those big guys,
Yeah.
6'7".
He's got a lot of guys, 6'5", 6'8", that seem like they're all interchangeable. They can play a number of different positions. You look at Kendrick, 6'7", he's a 1, 2, and a 3, they told us.
He's recovering from a sports hernia injury.
They named everything, haven't they, in recent years?
Yes, they have.
Everything's got a name. Ball is loose.
That's a kick ball.
Good call by Tim Gaddis.
And a kick is intentional. It's got to be intentional, and clearly Watson gets his foot over there and tries to get it. So they will reset the shot clock to 15 since it was down to 11. Nice try by Watson.
Hey, you know.
This game has been played by both teams with tremendous intensity.
Right.
They are really getting after it. And as I said earlier, you take that ball into traffic, whether it's on the dribble or whether you pull off a rebound in traffic, you better be strong with the basketball because guys are going to be slapping at it and the referees are not going to bail you out.
3 ties, 8 lead changes. Ole Miss's biggest lead's been 4. Southern Miss's biggest lead was 5. Kendrick with 5 to shoot, has to give it up. Summers looks, drives, rejected it, and the shot clock will go off. 9 turnovers now in the ball game for Ole Miss. Good defense.
Great defense, and I don't think this wasn't a case where they didn't realize how much time was left. They knew how much time was left, but he took it right at Bolton. With the clock running down, I don't think against either one of these teams you want to make a living trying to drive the ball to the basket with the shot clock running down. Each team has guys who can swat the ball away.
You know, you think of Larry Eustace, what he's done, as Bolton gives it up. Page has to track it down. He bases his team on defense and rebound. We saw it there.
Bolton's had some opportunities inside. He's got to shoot that ball with a little more confidence. And that's what you call shooting with confidence. My heaven.
Watson was 6 from way outside with the 3.
Now that's a set shot that you see a 60-year-old guy shoot down at the Y.
Like you?
That's not even a jump shot.
Welcome to Reed Green Coliseum in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. It's a battle for bragging rights for the state of Mississippi. Ole Miss and Southern Miss. We've got a timeout. Right now, Southern Miss leads it by 4. When we come back, we'll catch you up on what has happened inside the Coliseum.
Interesting game. You can see Southern Miss has done a great job forcing turnovers and getting points off turnovers. Ole Miss, on the other hand, has done a great job on the offensive boards. They have 8 offensive rebounds, and they've got 8 points second chance point as a result of those offensive rebounds. So that's sort of the story of the game. Ole Miss turnovers, and Southern Miss converts. Ole Miss offensive rebounds, the Rebels convert.
Let's go back to what we talked about a few minutes ago, though. This is an important game, though, for not only for Southern Miss, but also for Conference USA in the overall scheme of things.
There's no question. Larry Eustace and other coaches of Conference USA really feel as if their conference is undervalued. And the best way to improve your value is to win games against good teams from the big leagues, and that's exactly what they have the opportunity here to do today. On the other hand, for Ole Miss is a team looking to go to the NCAA tournament, and one of the ways you improve your resume is you win tough games on the road against good teams, and that's what they have an opportunity to do today.
Third member of our broadcast team is Jen Hildreth on the sidelines. Jen?
Now, Ron, I was just listening to that Southern Miss timeout. No warm fuzzies over here from Larry Eustace. Let me just put it that way. You talk about him knowing what a big game this is, and you can feel the intensity in that huddle. I tell you that. Be interesting to hear what he has to say at halftime. He was not a happy guy. Talked a lot about blocking out or the lack thereof with his big guys.
Which has been a problem in the game for him so far. The pull-up by Watson won't go. The tip does by Bolden.
One of the things that you see about Ole Miss when you watch them on tape is their big guys are much more likely to turn and go after the ball using their leaping ability rather than block out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That time, Southern Miss got inside. Didn't matter how high Ole Miss could jump. The Golden Eagles got the ball.
Nice job by Bolden with 4 in the ball game.